MMORPGs used to be impressive for the fact that they were online alone.
Why they gotta pause it like that? Why, of all the ways to pause it, like, why they gotta pause it like that in that exact position, in that let's see it.
That's what was impressive about it. You said to someone, hey, you can play a game online, and people were suddenly thinking, oh my god, that's amazing. EverQuest was the world's prettiest chat room. You could kill a couple of skeletons, and then you would sit, and while you get all of your kind of energy and stamina and magic back, just chat to your friends for like 10 minutes. The game wasn't necessarily the focus. The social experience was. That was, as you have put in the chat, Pave, perfectly, that was innovative 20 years ago. People loved the fact you could play games and talk to other people at the same time.
Well, that was always the focus, right? And like you could do that. It was the same thing in like Halo 2. That was the first time that I had this experience where like as in Halo 2, I was able to talk to somebody that lived in a completely different part of the country that was doing the same stuff that I did, that talked the same way that I did, that played the same games that I did, and that had value in itself. It was the novelty of it. But now that just happens everywhere. It's normal.
That got taken away and replaced by social media. By Facebook, by WhatsApp, by Discord, all that kind of stuff. Even by Twitch. Because the games used to foster a sense of community. And then what happened was, and this happens with everything, okay? If you have something that does everything, people will gravitate to it for what it does that nothing else does.
Duh.
If you only need one thing, people will gravitate toward whatever is best at that thing. Imagine you walk into the bathroom and you have a headache. You've got a really bad headache, super pounding headache. It just really, really, really hurts. And you've got a couple of boxes of pills. And one of them says, kind of cures headaches, kind of cures leg pain, kind of cures coughs, kind of does this, kind of sorts that out. And another box that says, stops headaches now.
I think I'd want...
You're probably going to take the stops headaches now one. Now, the other box does more stuff, but it doesn't do what you need right now. So you take the box that, you know, it does what you need right now. Is this relevant for the exam? Yes.
I wouldn't do that, actually. I would use the headache as an excuse to go home from work so I could lay down and play video games. That's what I used to do in middle school, is every single time after lunch is I would pretend to be sick, and I could increase my temperature enough to where the nurse would have to tell me to lay down by, like, you know, breathing onto the thermometer in a certain way, right, and trying to fake it as much as I could. And I would do this, and then as soon as I got that, I was able to call my mom, and I was like, Mom, you've got to come get me. And she says, why? And I'm like, I'm not feeling good. I feel sick. And she's like, okay, all right, I guess I'll go get you. And she goes and she picks me up from school. I don't have to go to English class, which was 6th period, which I didn't want to go to right after lunch. And what I got to do instead is I got to go to Taco Bell. Because I convinced her that Taco Bell would make me feel better. So now I get 2 lunches. I get to go to Taco Bell. I leave school early. Like, I just can't stop winning. And I never even had a headache to begin with. She knew you didn't?
We're going to circle round eventually, okay? A lot of my lessons go off on tangents, but then they do circle back round. You take what you need right now. If you walked into the bathroom with, you know, some kind of pain in your leg and you had a box of pills that kind of does everything, but nothing super well, and then another box that says, stops leg pain, you would simply, you know, use the stop leg pain one. EverQuest did a lot of stuff kind of well. It was a kind of good RPG. And it was a kind of good chat room. And it was a kind of good online experience. Yeah. But then things came along which did small, specific things much better. Discord is a much better group chat than EverQuest was.
It sure is.
The Witcher 3, many would consider, is a better RPG or a better gameplay experience than EverQuest was. Not saying EverQuest is bad.
I agree.
It did
I see
of things very well, but nothing perfectly.
Okay.
MMORPGs now are in a position where they are games.
They're mediocre
but they're
at
not
everything.
necessarily as good as other games. And they're chat rooms, but they're not necessarily as good as other chat rooms. And their crafting systems...
I think this is actually a really good point, because, like, one of the things, like, a lot of people can compare games and, like, see what the advantages are for each game. But I think this is definitely true. Like, for example, like there are exceptions. Like each game, I think, does a few things really, really, really well. But other than that, yeah, most single-player games do it better. That's what I said before about PvP. Remember, I was talking about this earlier in the stream. This is the exact same point.
They're not necessarily as good as other crafting systems. MMORPGs are caught in this awkward place where they do a lot of stuff which used to be impressive.
Right.
And now they don't do anything well enough to really impress.
True.
What do they do better than anything else? I would say it's multiplayer experiences. Multiplayer challenges like dungeon runs or PvP.
Some guys just pay to win in his chat.
Raids amazingly.
Of course.
So when you look at things like Guild Wars 1, that's still online because it's a good single-player experience and you can team up with other people. Raids, phenomenally fun in MMORPGs, which is why a lot of MMOs add in raid finders, so people can get to that content quicker. PvP...
Well, it's also because that content is the main reason, it's the main point of difference that a raid, a game has with like another random game. Like, for example, I always talk about how much I like Guardian raids in Lost Ark, and then every time I do that, people say, oh man, you're gonna love Monster Hunter. And it's like, the odds are that the Monster Hunter experience is probably better than killing Guardian solo in Lost Ark. It is probably better. Absolutely.
Absolutely. They do that really well. MMORPGs are in this complex place where providing everything doesn't provide any individual thing to the level of quality that people that want that thing actually go to.
On the novelty that it's multiplayer. But nowadays, everything is multiplayer. Nowadays, everything in the world is interconnected. Yep. So this is no longer a novelty. This is just...
Very true.
True.
Novelty sells. Novelty sells really well.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, I totally I think I made great points in that video. Absolutely. But like just in general and just overall, I completely fucking forgot what I was saying. I completely did. But like the novelty, like for example, like WoW does like a really good job at like having an immersive world. It always did, you know, without like a lot of cutscenes or like loading screens or anything like that. It always had like really good end game content. Like whether it's Mythic Plus, I hate it, but a lot of people like it. Raiding or Arena, right? That's like the one thing that WoW has that's like really good. Final Fantasy's got a really good story, for example, and so people play it for the story because the story is on par with like single player game stories. People play a game like Lost Ark because it has very good combat that's on par with a game like Path of Exile or Diablo 3's combat. I think so. With RuneScape has a huge nostalgia factor that many other games can't really capitalize on. And all of these reasons are reasons why these games grow and reasons why they retain an audience. But a lot of the other things inside of the game,
Swords
you know,
of
like
Legend. MMO.
The graphics, for example, in Final Fantasy are garbage. They suck. If you compare them to like any game that comes out that's coming out nowadays, they're trash. It's the same thing with WoW. WoW's graphics are trash. And you know what? Lost Ark is worse than both of them. Lost Ark is the worst of the three. They're all terrible. Like, they're all very bad. Like, WoW at least has... The good thing that WoW has much more stylistic graphics, and, like, the characters are much less humanoid, right? It's like they're humans, but they're not. Like, people don't look like that in real life. And I think the reason for that... Wait, what are the question marks for? No shot? Wait, really? Wait a second. What is it? Lost Ark is good? I would say Lost Ark is better? Wait, yeah, no. What am I being disagreed with on? Wait, I'm so confused. Like, I don't even understand this. Like, what are people disagreeing with me on here? WoW graphics are bad? No, they're not. They're stylistic. And the reason why they're stylistic, and like, yes, they are bad. They are fundamentally bad if you look at the amount of pixels in them and stuff like that. But they don't show their age as much as something else. Like, basically, bullshit? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. They're dated? Of course they're dated. Of course they're dated. But they don't show their age as much as other games that were developed around the same time that were meant to be more photorealistic. Are you crazy? What is this here? You said Final Fantasy graphics are better than Lost Ark. Final Fantasy's graphics better than Lost Ark? True. Yes, they are. They are absolutely better. The only reason why you think Lost Ark's graphics are better is because you can't zoom in on anything because it has a fixed camera angle. Final Fantasy 100% has better graphics than Lost Ark. It absolutely does. Like, the man's blind. Oh my god. All right. We're going to do this before we watch the question mark video, okay? All right, let's look at this one here. Lost Ark. Nineveh cinematic. Okay, we're going to pull this one up, and we're going to see what the difference is, okay? And I want you guys to tell me if you think it's better or not. Okay? I'm going to get a close-up of one of the characters' faces. Okay, there's that one. All right, let's just use that. And let's look at Final Fantasy 14 cinematic. Let's just do Nidhogg. Okay, let's do Nidhogg. And let's compare these two things. And you guys can tell me which one you think has better graphics. Let me find a good image of like a character with like a bit of a close up on their face. Okay, this is about where I was looking for. That looks like he's like fucking busting a nut, so we're just gonna stop. Okay, how about like right here? Okay, 1 second. There. Which one do you guys think looks better? Because in my opinion, Lost Ark looks better. Console graphics, you guys think Lost Ark looks better. I actually think Final Fantasy looks better. And I think the reason for that, the reason why I feel that way, is that I don't like the way the characters, like their eyes are. I think their eyes are just so dead. And in Final Fantasy, it doesn't look that way at all to me. Like that, really, that's honestly the way I feel. I feel like Final Fantasy, and this, by the way, I'm not going to look up an Endwalker cinematic because I haven't seen them yet. But, like, I haven't played the game yet. So, like, I can only use Heaven's Word. I am fairly certain that the cinematics in Final Fantasy have improved over time. Like, but, like, either way, what I'm saying, like, let's go back to the point that Josh was bringing up. Yeah, and a Stormbald cinematic? Well, I mean, of course the Stormblood cinematics are going to be better. Bad example, I think. Animation in Final Fantasy are great. Lost Ark animations with faces are terrible. Yeah, I really think that they are. Like, I actually think that they suck. Like, let me see. I guess I can see why people think that Lost Ark, yeah. Maybe Lost Ark is a bit better. I feel like this is definitely, like, the quality of the environment is definitely a lot higher than, yeah, I'll agree with you on that. Lost Ark is fucking better. Yeah, I mean, now that I'm looking at it side by side, I mean, I just kind of, I feel like, yeah, Lost Ark is better. Yeah, maybe it is. It's just, you're comparing very old stuff in Final Fantasy. Yeah, overall, I don't know. The graphics in every MMO, I think, generally suck. Okay? Like, let's just get back to what I was originally talking about. The graphics in every MMO, I think, generally suck. They're not great. They're not amazing. That's all there is to it. Like, can we at least agree on that? Like, Final Fantasy sucks, Lost Ark sucks, New World sucks, WoW sucks, and I think the games that are more stylistic, like WoW, hold up better. RuneScape obviously has dog shit graphics. That's the way it goes. BDO's graphics, I think, suck too. I think that they do. If you go down and you look at the actual objects in the game, I don't know, I haven't played it in such a long time, but whenever I looked at it last time, I thought they sucked too.